remarks on behalf of the ministry. As you may have heard in news, the Liberian National Police dismissed Officer Ishmael Talawale for what the LNP termed as gross misconduct in the death of 70-year-old James Kennedy in the LY rehab community in India. You can recall that on 1st July, the officer was responding to a violent situation in the community, unlawfully discharged firearms, according to police investigation. The LMP has a professional standard. An investigation on the professional standard concludes that the officer was not in a situation of imminent danger, and that the use of force was not proportionate to the situation. Unfortunately, the little boy who posed no threat to the officer was killed. Officer Talawale has been dismissed and is being processed to court, and the law will take its course in this case. The government again extends sympathies to the family of the little boy. We thank the police, IG Como, for the leadership. This is a clear indication that they are only part of progress, and nobody is above the law, and that the government has zero tolerance for violence and official misconduct. And if anybody found culpable in such conduct, to be dealt with accordingly. Since it's taking over the police, the Inspector General has been very instrumental in reforming the LMP, managed to increase police presence. He's using his international connections to boost the logistical morale of the LMP. That's something that we appreciate. That the police, which is a first responder to situation of violence, can be able to reprimand one of its own, disrobe him, and send it to court for such misconduct. That clearly indicates that there's no room for inappropriate conduct within the security sector of our country. The Vice President, Honorable Jeremiah Frankhom, has re-echoed government commitment to an inclusive arrest agenda. Vice President made statements in a keynote speech on the occasion marking World Population Day celebration yesterday in Monrovia. Liberia and international partners, including the UNFPA, commemorated World Population Day yesterday. The day is celebrated each year, July 11. The event saw the launch of the 2024 State of the World Population Report. Yesterday, commemoration was on the theme, embracing the power of inclusive data towards a resilient and equitable future for all. Our Honorable Distinguished Vice President Jeremiah Frankhom delivered a keynote address at the occasion at the ministerial conference. He his speech, the Vice President re-echoed government commitment to data-driven policy decisions. The Vice President told dignitaries at events that the government arrest agenda will make use of data and evidence, which he said are crucial to design policies that are effective and that impact the lives of ordinary people. The Vice President emphasized the government is committed to ensuring that the rights of women, girls, and all young people are an integral part of the ongoing formulation process of the government's arrest agenda. Vice President emphasized that he is engaging with lawmakers as President of the Liberian Senate. He will ensure that policies and laws passed by the legislature considers the issues faced by all citizens, particularly those that are most vulnerable, the elderly people with disabilities. We, at this juncture, want to welcome to the podium, the national podium, the Director General of the Civil Service Agency, the Honorable Josiah Joekai.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's always a great honor to mount this podium in this historic hall. I want to thank the Deputy Minister for Technical Services, Honorable Daniel Samuel, for this great opportunity. Again, I see that the Assistant Minister is also here. I have the Director of Welfare at the Civil Service Agency, Mr. Rufus Johnson, who is also here. We also have Mr. Victor Patakoli, who is also here. And to you, our distinguished media practitioners, ladies and gentlemen, on July 4th, the President, His Excellency, in this very hall, officially status regularization project. The project is a flagship program of the government of Liberia that is being implemented by the Civil Service Agency. The launch of the program constitutes a mandate to the CSA from the President of our country to conduct a nationwide employee verification and headcount exercise. The ESRP is being conducted across 103 government spending entities. As you all know, we've been here 2 different times to provide progressive reports on the status of the exercise, and a number of fictitious names have been blocked on our payrolls. You have the data. We have also addressed the issue of double dippers and the issue of people with duplicate accounts on the national payroll. We want to inform you today that in keeping with the President's mandate, the Civil Service Agency has deployed across regions in the country. Region 1, Northern Liberia, we have deployed a team in Lofa, Nimba, and Bon counties. Region 2, Southeastern Liberia, we have deployed a team to cover Maryland, Riverside, Saddle, Grand Crew, and Grand Gillette counties. Region 3, that's South Central Liberia. We have deployed a team to cover Riverside, Grand Bassa, and Maikidi counties. Region 4, Western Liberia. We have deployed a team to cover Bapolu, Grand Cape Mount, and Omi counties. We have also deployed a huge team in Western Liberia to cover Bapolu, Grand Cape Mount, and Bomi counties. And finally, we have a team that is currently conducting the employee verification and headcount exercise across urban and rural Montserrat County. The ESRP aims to strengthen and manage the government's payroll system for transparency and accountability. It also seeks to address the challenges of host names, double dippers, double accounts, shared bank accounts, shared mobile money accounts in our national payroll system. As of the next 2 weeks, we are finalizing reports, progressive reports for the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, where we have conducted the verification and headcount exercise. And in addition to the Ministry of Finance, Monrovia City Corporation, John F. Kennedy Medical Center, Ministry of Education Central Office, the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, the Governance Commission, the Liberia Broadcasting System, the Liberian Senate, and the Vice President's Office. In 2 weeks, we will be mounting this very podium to bring you progressive reports from the spending entities that I have just read to you. In a special way, I want to thank the leadership of the Liberian Senate and the Honorable Vice President of the Republic of Liberia for their magnanimity for accepting the Civil Service Agency to go into the Senate and conduct the employee physical verification and headcounts of their central administration. We cover a total of 385 central administration employees who are civil servants at the Liberian Senate. So, as I indicated to you, we will be providing reports in the next 2 weeks on that. But I think that was a great leadership demonstrated by the Liberian Senate. If we are looking for transparency, openness, and accountability, that is a classic example. Also, Honorable Jeremiah Kwan-Kun, the Vice President of our country, he subjected himself. He did not only allow us to go in and conduct the exercise in terms of physically counting all the employees in his office and at the group of 77, but he himself was counted and was verified. He submitted documents. Most of you saw it, the photographs all over the place. I thought this was a demonstration of exemplary leadership. Leading by example reflects that. And I just want other officials of government to see that, to emulate that great example, so that we can bring total transparency and accountability to our payroll system, that we ensure prudent public finance management, and to ensure the effective utilization of public resources. Our leaders continue to demonstrate such great leadership. Today, I also want to call on all individuals from the spending entities which we have reported for and affected in terms of receiving notification of warning, suspension, and dismissal, that beginning today, July 12th to August 26th, the individuals concerned and who believe that they have substantiated claims to be reinstated should come to the Civil Service Agency, specifically to our Employment Services Division, to be verified. They know exactly what to bring in terms of documents. They are all aware. that has been communicated to them by their respective spending entities. After August 26th, if they don't come to be verified, they will be permanently removed from the payroll. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today the Civil Service Agency is going to make an important announcement on employees' retirement. This has been a long-standing concern of people, civil servants who have qualified for retirement and pension. The Civil Service Agency and the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation are currently working to strengthen their internal procedures to reform the retirement process of civil servants, to ensure the smooth transition of eligible employees from the civil service payroll to the pension payroll of the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. We have collectively identified about 1,500 employees representing 30 ministries, agencies, and commissions who are now eligible for retirement and also working with other relevant entities of government to submit their retirement listings on or before the 17th of July 2024. This will eventually increase the total number of employees eligible for retirement in the fiscal year 2024. Following the submission of retirement listings by outstanding government spending entities, all impacted personnel designated for retirement in 2024 will cease to work as of July 31st, 2024. Recognizing the challenges with transitioning from a life of active service to one of far less activity and income, the Civil Service Human Resources Personnel Manual, Section 62D, provides for the payment of handshake packages to retirees and the provision of guidance and counseling to prospective retirees to help encourage a positive attitude to retirement and to relieve the uncertainty and worries employees may have. The guidance and counseling section of the Civil Service Agency is also intending to facilitate their planning for the future. On the other hand, the payment of retirement pension by NASCA plays a key role in relieving them of some financial burdens. Although the payment of these benefits have worked for several years, key gaps remain with implementation. For instance, the disbursement of the handshake package and retirement pension benefits are often fraught with delays, and the pre-retirement counseling is seldom sufficient to address the extent of preparation that is required to transition to a completely different phase of life. To address these concerns, concerned employees will be able to stay at home in August, September, and October 2024, meaning they will not be working anymore for those months as of the end of July, but will be paid their salaries as handshake for the 3 months. We plan to formally retire them and remove them from the government payroll system beginning November 2024. That means as of the end of July, all the listings we receive from government spending entities for those qualified for retirement will no longer be in the employ of government. They will stay home for August, September, and October. For those 3 months they will be home, they will take their salaries. Those salaries, the accumulated salary, will represent the handshake that government is supposed to give them. Because government cannot generate the resources from different sources now to be able to give them handshakes. Furthermore, the CSA, in partnership with NASCA, plans to offer nationwide pre-retirement counseling and motivational workshops for prospective retirees by mid-August 2024. The approval timelines for the workshops and all other reform strategies on retirement will be officially communicated to the entities concerned on or before the 25th of July 2024. That means for the period they will be home and taking their salaries, we will be engaged with them, counseling them, and making sure that they can have a smooth transition from active service to a far less status, and that the process can be very smooth and acceptable. Thank you.
So, if you were taking over at the Civil Service Agency, Honorable Josiah
Thank you very much,
Junior.
Mr. Director General.
Today edition of the press briefing here at the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism. So as usual, I'll run the introductory comments. We'll go to the question and answer section. There's a normal routine here, so we now go on to one question.
Report for OKF. Thank you, Mr. Joekai, for your elaboration. I have two concerns, or three concerns anyway. Do you care to tell us, because you were here the last time, you told us that the financial controllers at Lands, Mines and Energy and other institutions were asked to turn themselves to the Solicitor General for investigation. They done that. And with this head count and the verification exercise that you are carrying on, is the government, I don't know whether you said it in the past, but I want to know, I want to get a confirmation from you today, whether the government is thinking about maybe increasing in civil servant salary. And for the issue of the headcount that will be taking place across some of the regions that you just talked about, one of the things I used to observe when I in one of the legal counters is that when these people go in the field to do this verification, as long as their bosses are not there, you see that sometimes they compromise. What's your own commitment in making sure that while we are observing today, that after the verification, we will not see that? Thank you.
Thank you. So my name is James Mbala, and I report for Weather to Arrive regarding my indicator team. Thank you for the exercise I think reported across the nation. One concern I have is that we people who been removed from payroll without the authorizations of CSA in the rural counties. Some who are working, especially from education. Some of them, they just stop taking pay and they don't know the reasons. There are no reasons, but over the year they are not taking pay, they go home. Will they be allowed to go for the exercise, and if they are to be reinstated, what will be your positions in that process? Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Struban Mama, and I report for Spoon FM. You spoke of having your team across the country. Are you care to tell us what, because we are in the rainy season now, what logistical support and financial support you can tell us, maybe in cents and dollars, how much you're going to use to do this exercise? That's one. And lastly, you spoke of those who you intend to pension. You also spoke of those who are on a job, but you failed to tell us the replacement process. Are you intending to reintroduce a cadet program that will have young people in the CSA? Thank you. My name is Samson, the Louisiana for TV Online. So my question goes to Mr. Sino. The issue about the not official rotation. So a ministry, a executive management have over 201K followers on Facebook, and Nina having 202K followers. So the institution having more followers than the executive management, and you allow the page going free, and they young guy change the name of the page. Can you tell us what is the outcome of that?
All right. I'm Lawrence between right for another thing. Honorable Director, thank you very much for the explanation. And we follow the ministries and agencies, including some branches of government, like we gave much praise to the Senate, to be specific, the Vice President. The legislature that I know is divided into two. The lower house now the upper house. And you did praise the Senate. I want to know whether there's a plan to also audit the lower house. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Kural Thompson, and I report for the True Independent Media newspaper. Do you care to tell us how long will the headcount last in the country and how will it be implemented? And on the flip side of that, do you care to tell us for the retirees who will be sitting home, how long will they be receiving salary? Thank you so much.
That's correct.
So,
Yeah, thank you so much.
we'll go back to the
Oh, no, I'm so glad I took all the questions. That's the question.
Joekai
Right, this is good.
respond to some
And I will
of the
start from the
questions
bottom to the top. With Thompson's
Today's
question
special
about how long will the employee physical verification and headcount last. So it commenced on July 10th and is going to continue up to August 20th. That's when the exercise will be conducted at the entities. But when it will be completed, it's going to be at the end of August. At the end of August, we should be able to come back here in this fall and be able to report to you on the outcome of the exercise. So Larry talked about, it's what we call bicameral legislature. That's what we have. We have the Senate and we have the House of Representatives. So the Senate and the Vice President, President's office have fully cooperated to allow us to go and conduct the exercise at both offices, the Senate and the Vice President. That's why I have to heap praises on them and that I'm disregarding the support of the heads of the other entities. I have come here on numerous occasions and I've really lavished praises on the heads of entities, the support they provided to us in terms of accommodating our teams, and sometimes in some cases they offer lunches, so everyone is very supportive. But at that level of government, when the Senate, when the Vice President, when they all subject themselves to a process of this nature, it's just fair enough that we use that as a good example for the rest of the officials of government to emulate. And that's why we highlighted the Senate and the Vice President's office in such a way. Your second question was as to whether or not we will also conduct the exercise at the lower house for the central administration staff. And what we need to understand is that that's a separate branch of government, but the central administrations of both houses fall in the purview of the civil service agency. So I need to establish that so people get to know why is it that we have to conduct the exercise at both houses' central administrations. We have officially rated the House of Representatives. Interestingly, we even wrote them prior to rating the Senate. The House of Representatives has not responded to our communication. We did a follow-up communication to them, asking them again that we really want to come in to conduct the exercise. The chair on Rules, Order, and Administration invited me and my team to the House. We went there and we had a meeting with his team and some of the the leaders of the central administration, the HR, and other directors. And the understanding was that we sent our technical team to go and work with the central administration leadership headed by the HR so that they can work on modalities in keeping with our request to be able to conduct the exercise at the House. That meeting did not yield fruition, and that is why we have not commenced the exercise at the House. Notwithstanding, we want to use this medium to call on the House's leadership, to the Honorable Speaker, to the Chair on Rules and Administration of the House, and everybody in the leadership to consider this as cardinal. It's important because it's going to make us to advise them appropriately in terms of what to do with their personnel management system. We actually want to know what the structure of their personnel looks like. We want to know if they have a fictitious name on their payroll. We want to know if they have individuals on the payroll with double and shared bank account numbers, double which will definitely reflect double accounts to which if we want to see if we have fictitious names, those names on their payroll. We didn't know that if we don't do the exercise. So it's an appeal to the leadership of the House of Representatives to allow the civil service agency to come and conduct the exercise that's been conducted across all spending entities of government. So I think your question was quite in place. That's where we are right now with the House of Representatives. Program, you asked a critical question, and I think it's important for us to let the Liberian people know that yes, the ESRP is divided into two phases. So phase one is the conduct of the employee physical verification and head counts. So once we do that, we complete phase one, we will have a full understanding of who are the legitimate civil servants across government. Then we will also establish who are the illegitimate individuals who are illegally receiving government's money, which is imposing serious financial burdens on the government. And that is even preventing government from, fully supporting other productive sectors like agriculture, like education, like healthcare, like the security sector. It's critical for us to do that, have some savings. The president is on record. He was here 1 week ago when he said that this exercise will also lead to improving the wages of legitimate, he almost called that word, quote unquote. He said legitimate civil servants. And that's critical for us to keep in mind that he's really keen on us improving the wages of civil servants when this exercise ends. Yes, it's true the government has provided some support to phase one. The government provided a little over $200,000 US that's going to cover phase one of the exercise. And this will cover what you asked about the logistical component of it and taking care of transportation and everything inclusive. So you will see that our teams are across the country. They have what they need to do the work. They have the tablets that have been loaded with our system. The system was developed very powerful. One of the powerful features of our app is that it's able to flag duplicate accounts. That's very easy. A classic example is when we announced here that we blocked more than 900 people duplicate accounts. So how did we get to know? It was by running, the payroll through the system, and the system just flagged all the duplicate accounts. So how does that work? Program, if you are an employee of one spending entity, and we take your picture, we scan your credential, we have you counted, your employment letter, we upload everything in the system. Once we try to save everything we've uploaded, if you are on the payroll more than once, the system is going to flag all the other duplicate accounts, all your other duplicate accounts. And that's how we were able to identify. First, we identified 210. And after that, we removed them. We announced it. We keep freely announced it. Graciously, they give us the time. When we identified the second data set, 903 individuals. And I reported to you that of the 903 we blocked, only 2 has come back to tell us that they are reanimals. The others still remain blocked on the payroll. And I told you that because of that action of the CSA, the government going forward, if we don't reinstate those people, if they don't come to be verified, the government will be saving $2.6 billion going forward. That's what we pay these people annually. Yes, so, and then monthly some 400,000. So that's how powerful the act is. You know, those are the things that the government has supported us to do. So the system, the hardwares in terms of the kits, we have kits, look like the biometric kits. In our kit, you have power banks, you have tablets, you have everything. We have routers for internet service, all the things they have them. They have their vests, their jackets, so we will identify. We have vehicles specifically assigned to them per region. And let me say here for the record, let's give it out to the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education is working so closely with us that the auditor assigned, the IAA auditor assigned at the Ministry of Education is working with our report production team, production and documentation team. Second, the Ministry of Education also contracted vehicles, as about 2 vehicles, 2 or a little, yes, some vehicles that's taking teams. In fact, we are all working together as a unit, the Ministry of Education, CSA. And why is the Ministry of Education so concerned? We're talking about close to 15,000 employees. There's the Ministry of Education everywhere across the country, talking about teachers, talking about educationalists, administrators, you know, across the country, specialists across the country. So, I mean, it makes sense for them to come our teams to go across the country to help us in the process because the work is cumbersome. And so we really appreciate that. And we look forward to such support from other ministries and agencies. So, Trogan, the process is supported by the government. We've received the financial support. When we are doing the second phase, after the identification of all the illegitimate employees on the payroll in the different categories, we will go to phase 2. Phase 2 now is to sit with those legitimate individuals to allow them complete their personnel action notices in keeping with law, and then to ensure that they are legitimate employees of the government. The Civil Service Agency can now, from that point moving forward, account for all civil servants across the government because we will have a full, comprehensive data for all the employees. And by then, you get to know who is who. They have the right credentials, they have the right people. We don't have misfits in terms of square pegs and round holes. No, we don't have them. And then we can now begin to see at that point the efficiency and the productivity of the government. James, you talked about us removing people from the payroll, people who were removed from the payroll prior. That was prior to us coming to the CSA a lot. And I agree with you, that happened a lot. You asked if you know, they would be restored or they would be allowed to go through the exercise. Let me tell you one thing we did immediately we took over. The Civil Service Standing Orders and the Human Resources Policy Manual provides for the establishment of an examining committee and an appeals board. So what do they do? The examining committee is responsible to hear all cases from civil servants across government. If there are wrong human resource actions against you, that is where you take it. The examining board has a quasi-judicial authority to be able to hear cases. That examining board was practically dysfunctional. It was dysfunctional for the most part for the last 6 years, the examining board. And how do I know? We have backlog of cases that came to the CSA that were never heard. The first thing we did, we reactivated the examining board because there has to be a functional and operational grievance and complaint management system so that we can give you due process, so that we can give you access to justice, the civil servants. So the examining board is working. It's working very effectively. It has taken on several cases. I was asking them last time to bring me a report on where we are since it started in April. Since it started hearing cases in April, I need to know how many cases they heard, you know, how many they dispose of, and how many is supposed to go to the Board of Appeals. So we also immediately wrote the president of Liberia, the His Excellency Joseph Joekai Sr., asking him to reconstitute the Board of Appeals. That Board of Appeals was never reconstituted in 18 years. 18 years it was never so people did not have justice. Civil servants did not have justice across this country. It's not just for the last 6 years, for 18 years, the appeal board was not. So all the cases that were going to the CSA over the years were all just shelved in the corner, no redress. So immediately we asked the president did not waste any time. As soon as the president received the communication, the request from the CSA, the president immediately reconstituted the appeals board. As I speak to you, the appeals board is working. What's the role of the appeals board? The role is to review all hearings or cases from the examining committee. If a civil servant is not happy or does not accept the outcome of their hearing from the examining committee, they take appeal straight to the appeal board. And I am secretary as Director General by law to the appeals board. Meaning that secretary, the only role I play there is to take notes. The decision is made by the board members. They make the decision in those cases. So I want to tell you, James, that those people that you asked about specifically, those people now have a place to be able to bring their cases and can be effectively and efficiently addressed. You won't believe that many of these people in these categories have forwarded their communications to the examining committee. So many of them, people who were illegally removed from their positions, many of them have submitted their complaints, some going as far back as 2018, 2019, especially between 2018 and 2020. The number of cases very huge, the backlog that we have. People complain a lot that were illegally removed from their positions, so we have those that are being taken care of through our complaint management and regime system. So Morris asked the first set of questions, and Morris asked as to whether or not those who we announced, he didn't add the HRs, but I will add the HRs. And the financial controllers of those affected institutions, yes. So here's how we did it. We officially wrote the Ministry of Justice because we are in partnership with the Ministry of Justice on this matter. We wrote the Ministry of Justice informing them to investigate the individuals concerned with the understanding that they were responsible for human resource matters and working with financial controllers. So they should be able to provide more information as to how these discrepancies were put into our national payroll system. And for that sake, anybody will believe that you won't go looking for people elsewhere to tell you about what happened in the human resource part of the work of the entity. It's just the human resource director, the financial controller. And if the head of the entity is somehow implicated, they should be able to say it to the Ministry of Justice or any other person within the institution. So yes, we wrote the Ministry of Justice officially. I will tell you that the heads of those entities notify me of the suspension of the human resource directors who are forwarded to the Ministry of Justice. So the heads of those entities, I want to use this opportunity to thank them for their support and cooperation, because the CSA cannot do it alone. If we satisfy our part and they don't do theirs, it's not going to work. It's never ever going to work. So you talk about, you asked as to whether or not we will be increasing civil servant salaries. I'm not even the one saying it. His Excellency the President stood right here in this hall. All of us went in this hall when he said that one of the main goals of the ESRP at the end of the day is to ensure that we improve the wages of civil servants. And that is why I sent for this magazine. This magazine is coming up. This is the official civil servant magazine. This is the first. You see at the front? President Joekai assures legitimate civil servants improve wages. He said it right here. Right in here. He said it right here. So this is the official civil service magazine. This magazine encapsulates everything that we have done since we took over in March to this point, March to June. Everything is in here. Everything we are talking about is in this magazine. It covers everything we have done. The launch of the consultancy policy, the launch of the ESRP by the president, the payroll cleanup exercise, the 50% salary, advance, and all other things we have done. So many of them, agreement with NRR, between NRR and CSA on data sharing, giving us access to the national data system, database system, everything is captured. So this is the civil servant is going to come up quarterly. We are going to be distributing to all spending entities across government and our sponsors, so that you get to know what's going on at the civil service agency. So right here, and the magazine came on time, Maurice, you asked your question about increasing civil service salary, so please don't look at me. And I hope tomorrow morning you guys shouldn't say, I shouldn't be reading the papers and they say the civil service agency director general said will increase salaries, but it's actually the president saying it. And if the president says it, then it means that we all have to, it's a mandate, it's a policy, we all have to make it work. So your last question you asked about integrity of our teams, I can tell you, one of the best group of people I have ever worked with, my experience in public service, is the current group of people at the civil service agency. They are great people. They are talented people. We'll talk about powerful app, right? We'll say we're using the app for our system, right? The app we are using wouldn't spend millions. When they were doing the public sector modernization project, how much the World Bank spent to do our systems? Millions of dollars. We got people who came here and established systems, applications that they are using for millions. We have talents in CSA that developed one of the most powerful apps that I have seen. I have played with different apps, but this one that was developed, they didn't go to Europe, they didn't go to the United States, they didn't go abroad. They did it at the civil service agency. They sat down and developed it, and they showed it to us, and they showed us the performance level, the efficiency of the app, what it can do. And come on, this all of our data systems. And it pulls out anything we want. It generates any report that we want, and the reports are by far accurate. Everywhere we use the app to conduct our employee physical verification and headcount, nobody has come back to tell us that, hey, they in fact they call and say, how are you doing it? Because the people we talk to that are supposed to be dismissed, the people are telling us it's true. Some of them will tell us that, oh yeah, it's true, I didn't work for 2 months. Oh yeah, it's true, I did not work for 1 month. And our system picked them up. So I just want to tell you that these guys are working with the highest level of integrity and transparency. At the Liberia broadcasting system, one of the employees who knew that they were going to be affected, they went to one of our team members, a lady. They went to what compromise. The Director General of the MBS called me to tell me what that lady told the guy. Say, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. And I cannot have a conversation of that nature. I advise that you please stop. Ministry of Health. Those who know that when we announce the report will be affected, they've already reached out to our team members to compromise at the level of the conduct of the activities. And the people said, no, we cannot have such a conversation. These are people, when we did not have anything to give them to go in the field, when we had to go every morning to work, I call my deputies, I call them, the director of medical system politics, and give $40, $50. We all contributed to buy gas before government would come to support, to gas the bus that took them around. In some instances, to give them lunch. They did it on their own, no stipends, no DSA, but they never compromised any data. All the data we read here does not show that any compromising took place by any measure. We are confident that these are people with integrity, these are patriotic and nationalistic people, citizens of this country, wanting the best for their country, wanting to work to help to transform the situation so that we all can benefit. So on that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Minister, Deputy Minister, I am really grateful, and on behalf of the CSA, I want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. Right.
So folks, there you have it. He is the Director General of the Civil Service Agency. We just have to go.
So
And then this presentation
also
here
go,
today,
he said,
this
made a
presentation
comparison, he said the executive management page has
will be
24,000.
Friday.
So we are a government and we are focused on doing the work that we're supposed to do. Enough has been said about the attitude of the former director of the Liberia News Agency. He's been trained over to the police. In the meantime, the current team that is headed by Mr. Trumonta at the Liberia News Agency has established a very institutionalized social media page for the Liberia News Agency. The content that will be published on that page will attract the attention of people who feel Liberia and outside of Liberia. So we have a good piece of work and we are doing it. We are very focused on doing it. So as much as I know is that the former director of Lena has been channeled to the police, he's currently for the police. But meanwhile, a new page has been established and given the content that they will publish and air on the page, they will be followed. Social media following is basically about content. It's not about who likes you or who don't like you. You produce content that create public interest, then people will begin to follow you on social media, and we have no doubt that the current team, Elena, are capable of doing more than that. So the viewership of the new page will be increasing on an incremental basis based upon the publications and everything that we do here. By next week, we'll ensure that the page begins to go live on the bigger regular press briefing. Hope that answers your question. That being said, let's say thanks to all of you for coming to this press conference on very short notice. We look forward to seeing you here on next week Tuesday, that we announced on Thursday the education